Hello, hi, I'm Joanna from Evergreen Assessment, and I have been joking with one of my clients this afternoon about carbon reduction measures because it's just a pain point for me. I'll be entirely honest with you, and some of them make me laugh. So I have read lots of different carbon reduction plans from big companies to small companies, and usually the carbon reduction measures they're just so washy, so vague. They're just not watertight at all. And this is where I just feel that things fall down. So you've got your carbon reduction plan. It's all there ready for NHS procurement, and the PPN requirements, that's what's important here. So you're following the PPN guidance, and you're saying, hey, here are our emissions. We're aiming for net zero. Carbon reduction measures are how we're going to get there. They're all part of the battle plan. And I see these carbon reduction measures, but honestly, they're woolly. They can be just so wishy-washy, and it drives me insane. Things like we will look at renewable energy, we will consider fleet electrification, we are committed to reducing waste, and none of those actually state what we're really going to do. None of them have got meat on the bones as such. I really like having. I like having a carbon reduction plan with a bit of substance. So I like those measures to actually say, hey, we're going to have a feasibility study for solar for that particular office building next year. And this is the company that's going to do it. Oh, and who's responsible is this person? It's having that sort of detail, that added detail. And I think it's stronger. It's way more grounded. Another example as well, I often see is like that we want to electrify our fleet. Well, how are you going to do that? When are you going to do that? Who's responsible for that? What does that really look like? What potentially could be the benefit here in terms of your carbon footprint? Having that sort of flesh, it just shows real action, and it gives the reader confidence. Now, I am not saying that this is going to increase your level. I'm not saying, oh, you need these measures to be really smart and it's going to take you to a 4. It's not about that. It's just vague measures just make that carbon reduction plan feel separate from the rest of the business, and it makes it feel like you've got this procurement document that's just been flashed up, that just been put on the shelf and no one's going to read again. And that's not what this should be about. It should all connect to your wider ESG strategy. So if your ESG strategy is talking about operational efficiency, your carbon reduction plan should know what that means in carbon terms, and then your carbon measures and your objectives they all relate, they all connect and talk. So the best carbon reduction plans are not at all the ones with the fanciest language. They're the ones where those measures are real and they're tangible and they're actually they feel like they have some substance. I would much rather see a carbon reduction measure that states, I'm going to change my one light bulb in my office to LED next year, rather than something that is bigger but an awful lot more vague. Give me something real. Can somebody in the business actually do that? Is that is there an instruction? Is there a time frame, an owner? The emission source as well. Think about, I would always tackle my most material emissions. So if it's fleet, right, let's actually go to town and figure out how we're going to reduce carbon amongst your fleet. And then another smart bit is then you can report progress on those carbon reduction measures next year, which makes your ESG report, your carbon reduction plan, look awesome, because you've got that. You've not only got your house in order, but on year, you are continually improving. And that is absolutely what we want to see. I also love to see your carbon reduction plan, numerous of them, on the website. So you go on the website, I should see carbon reduction plan published 2020 to 2026. Then published 2025, I should be able to see a historic record of carbon reduction plans. That just, to me, when I see that, I just feel so much more confident in the ESG and sustainability strategy of the business. So yeah, I don't know whether that's helped or not. It's got a lot of stuff off my chest. But yeah, do if you want me to screen your carbon reduction measures and critique them, I will be honest with you. I'm not going to beat around the bush. But yeah, happy to.